My name is Celia Harrison, and this is a message for St. Luke's Hospital in Boise. As a homeless person who was living in the shelter, which I wouldn't call that living, I would call that being put in danger by being forced to stay in the shelter, I came to your hospital because I was very ill, to your emergency room, and I was bronchospasming. I do that, not very often, but sometimes certain viruses cause me to bronchospasm, and I was in the shelter where infectious diseases are rampant and everybody is packed close together and people won't keep their hands off of you. Men were putting their hands all over me. Other people were putting their hands on me. You can't move without rubbing up against someone, etc. You're sleeping often with your head 2 or 3 feet away from another person. If you're on the floor, your head's right next to someone else. And I have immune system problems. I have ME/CFS. ME/CFS is essentially the same as long COVID. We were treated like shit by the NIH and the CDC. That includes Anthony Fauci, who was the architect of convincing the medical community that the women that had ME/CFS were just hysterical. We're just hypochondriacs. But we were actually very ill. Our country blocked us from getting disability. So we had to keep working. And I would crash and burn. And then I would pick myself up and go back to work. I'm a retired nurse, by the way. Critical care, mostly, but I was house supervisor, psych. Supervisor at the blood bank. Supervisor of a psych unit, all kinds of stuff. And the things I've had physicians say to me, I had to essentially become my own physician. I had to listen to people like Nancy Klimas in Florida, Dr. Nancy Klimas. It's the only way I survived. I came to your emergency room. All I needed was an albuterol inhaler. You refused to give it to me. It was not an unreasonable request. It was an appropriate request. You said that because I was homeless, the only place I could go was Terry Riley. I call those clinics of incompetence, okay? There are some altruistics that work in those clinics, but there's also a lot of incompetent healthcare providers in them. I'd already been diagnosed with 2 misdiagnoses. They actually weren't even diagnoses, they were symptoms. One of them was totally incorrect. And so the other one was, a symptom of ME instead of when I told them that I had it, even saying the patient states she has this. It was diagnosed by Dr. Ed Przansky in Tacoma, Washington. But I already knew I had it. And you know why? Because my coworkers in a hospital did some research and figured it out because I was so sick. And the doctors were doing nothing. So, you treated me like shit. Your little girls at the check-in desk treated me like shit too. Yeah. And so now I park behind your fucking clinic. I've been doing this for a couple years because I live in a minivan, because I had an apartment I was gang stalked out of. Because the Boise Police Department is as useless as the tits on a boar, okay? They're also very abusive and narcissistic. And so, yes, there are problem people who park in this area. I do not like their behavior either. I've complained about it a lot, especially the garbage, especially the noise, especially in the middle of the night. I've had my window bashed out of my car behind your clinic. I've had people knock on my windows and shake my car and do all kinds of stuff here. But the Boise Police Department is as useless as the tits on a boar. I do know that you have a security camera. That's why I was parking here, okay? But the police refuse to get the footage, and you refuse to give me the footage of the night the window was bashed out of my car because you all knew who the fuck did it, okay? So I'm telling you that when I park here, I'm in the Hyundai minivan. I'm the one that puts the solar panel on top of my car. I'm the one that doesn't leave garbage. I do pour water out of my ice chest, out of a plastic bag. I try to keep it in a plastic bag so it doesn't leak into the ice chest. I do that. Yeah, it's a drought in a desert. No one gives a rat's ass. Might clean up some of the filth. And your security, every time I arrive, they come driving by. I'm going to start getting video of that, and I'm going to make videos about it. I would suggest that you stop it. Today, I tried to talk to someone in administration once again. I was put on terminal hold twice. Yeah. That's all you got. Okay, and see these circles right here, these red circles around my eyes? That's a symptom of ME/CFS. And here's another story. There was a man that was coming by my car and kicking it. The police gaslighted me when I called them, because that's what they do. That's what the Boise Police Department is made out of: gaslighting, lies, and inaction. And so finally there was a witness, and they had to charge him. And guess where he works? Meridian. He works in Meridian at the St. Luke's Emergency Room. Yeah, his name is Mr. Hinkle. And you guys called me, when I called you about that, a man called me back, talked to me like he was some kind of angry prosecutor, me, the victim of a crime from one of your employees, and then accused me indirectly of stealing your Wi-Fi, which has never happened. I have my own data that I use. I will use the library's Wi-Fi, but it's usually crappier than my phone Wi-Fi because I stay in my car. And I checked, and all of the Wi-Fi that came up for me had security on it, so I don't know what the hell this person was even talking about. I would suggest you leave me the fuck alone. I'm getting my medical records. Yeah.